Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express. The important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 2nd of June. The first important news, that is who should own the world lithium. We'll see the details about the lithium deposition in India and across the globe and how significant this metal is going to be. The second, that is India Nepal signed pact on energy and transport. Third, that is Law Commission views on sedition laws retention. This is something directly important for both prelims and mains examination. Second last, that is manufacturing PMI hits 31st month high in May. And the last is an editorial at the root of India's manufacturing challenge. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video, there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further delay, let's get started. And if you're new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful, do press a like button. So starting the session with the first news, that is who should own the world's lithium, something important for General Studies paper 3, that is conservation, environmental pollutions, degradation and EIA. So recently we have come across the news that a reserve in Jammu and Kashmir was found, where the lithium reserve were something which was welcome across the globe, and even for India that was a milestone achieved. Now, lithium is an element that is needed for the manufacturing of the batteries, electric cars, and renewable energy infrastructure. So it has a huge potential considering the global recognitions and even the part of the global attention. India is also looking forward to augment the part of lithium extraction across the country. Now, status of India's lithium industry की अगर बात करें, definitely EV, which government is focusing. We have a commitment towards the sustainable development goal, and even India has targeted for net zero emissions. अगर बात करें net zero emissions की, what is the target? You all must be aware. This is 2070. Now, to achieve this target, it is important that we should have the component and even the ways how we can achieve it. So electronic vehicle is one of the ways out. So, and you see the value of this market is valued at 383.5 billion in 2021, and it is expected that it will be expanded to 152.21 billion in 2030. Right? So this was in million. It is expected to reach out to 152 billion. Now, India import 450 million unit of lithium batteries, that is valued around 929 millions, which will make the development of the country's domestic reserve and as a matter of high stakes. Now, अगर बात करें global transitions की, even if you see for the low carbon economies, they are looking forward to expand the part of artificial intelligence, 5G technology, and greatly shaping the global and regional geopolitics. So at this time, it is very important that India is also metamorphosing on the part that yes, we are also capable enough to alter and make changes necessarily required. Now, this is a map which is again very important, specifically for prelims examination. The deposition of lithium which was found in India. So you have a deposition in Meghalaya in the northeast, and we have Nagaland and Arunachal Pradesh. So these are the places where found. Now, Jharkhand is again a one place. Then we have Chhattisgarh. These are the two places in the eastern India. Now, in the northern India, we have Rajasthan and Jammu and Kashmir with a huge reserve. So these are some of the part where the data is from the Ministry of Mines or GSI, जो कि Zoological Survey of India है, इन्होंने mapping की और details share की. Now, who should own this mineral? In July 2013, a 3-judge bench Supreme Court ने rule दिया था that the owner of the land and the right to everything beneath down is something which center has a role to play. Yes, the large part of the land, including the forest, which make up to like 22% of India's landmass, is hill, mountain, and revenue waste wasteland, which is again publicly owned, right? So this is something the Supreme Court has noted. And Supreme Court has also recalled that the union government could even already banned the private sector from mining the sensitive areas of the June. And even already in the case with the uranium, where Atomic Energy Act was ruled out, and even no private companies were allowed to go for the extraction and other mineral exploration part. Now, management of lithium reserve globally, अगर बात करें, there are some countries which has a huge reserve and that they are dominating the market. There are two South American countries which is part, that is Chile and Bolivia. They have a largest known reserve of lithium, particularly which is intrusive. In Chile, the government has designated lithium as a strategic resources and development has been made for the exclusive prerogative of the state. तो वहाँ पे जो rights हैं वो state की prerogative है, right? So this is again example which will be relevant for mains examination. Now in April, recently the president of Chile has appointed the new lithium strategy, or you can say the national lithium strategy, that many corporate sectors took into declarations with his intention that nationalize and even to ensure that these part of lithium industries at the global level. So वहाँ की सरकारों ने कई हद तक प्रमोट किया है कि वहाँ पे जो स्ट्रैटेजीज है उसके अकॉर्डिंगली वहाँ की पॉलिसी काम करे. Now Bolivia new constitution, which was actually adopted in 2009, gave the states the control and directions over the explorations and even the part of industrializations, transportation, commercializations for the natural resources. Now, बात करें lithium की, which is also known as white gold. India accounts for 5.7% of the global reserve, which is clearly evident from this graph. It is currently at 5.9% after the Jammu and Kashmir we have received. So the first country among the top rank is Bolivia, followed by Argentina, then United States, Chile, Australia, China, Germany, DR Congo, Canada, and other countries, right? So this is the source from the US Geological Survey. Now what next lies when it comes to lithium? Definitely first and foremost जो इंडिया में पॉलिसीज हैं उनको अलाइन करने की जरूरत है so that India explores and develop its own lithium reserve, and it is notable that the appropriate government development in this sector will require a high level of effectiveness in many part of the Indian states, which I have shown you a map. वहाँ पे कई ज़्यादा काम करने की ज़रूरत है so that we can effectively work on the more part of the exploration. Now much of India's mineral wealth is mined from the regions which has high level of poverty and environmental degradations and even the tax regulations. And effective and careful management of this sector should be paramount, where India's rare mineral is to meet multiple goals, चाहे वो social well-being हो, environmental safety हो या फिर national energy security. So everything has to keep in mind. We can not only just explore the part, we have to ensure that sustainability of environment is also taken into due consideration. Now moving to the other news, that is India and Nepal signed pact on energy transport. Something important for General Studies paper 2, that is India and its neighborhood relations. Prime Minister of Nepal is on a visit to India. So subsequently, I'll be following the news because this is also relevant for all the students who are having PSIR as an optional. उनके लिए कई बार इस तरह के जो visit है खास करके neighboring country and even specifically Nepal, ये आपके एग्जाम के लिए काफ़ी relevant है. Recently, India and Nepal has launched several connectivity and energy cooperation initiatives, including the cross-border passenger train. And Prime Minister of Nepal is on a 4-day visit to India. Now, joint vision statement sign की गई है. The joint vision statement on power cooperations and even commitment on two sides to work jointly on the power generations in Nepal, developed cross-border transmission infrastructure, bidirectional power trade based on market demand and coordinated operations at the national grid level. So power अगर बात करें almost 450 gigawatt के आसपास, even megawatt we take from नेपाल, तो एक पोटेंशियल पार्टनर्स है इंडिया की एनर्जी सिक्योरिटी को मीट करने के लिए, विच इज हाइडल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पावर. Now Nepal invited firm to invest in development of construction and renewal of hydropower projects. Agreement जो डिफरेंट डोमेन में की गई है between India and Nepal. So they have signed the agreement on transportations, including the export of Nepal hydropower to Bangladesh through Indian territory. Both countries has also looked forward to resolve the border dispute. Recent time there was a map, which was there in Uttarakhand region. So that is again something which created a conflict between these two countries. तो एक जो कहीं ना कहीं एक setback हुई है उसकी वजह से उस border dispute को भी resolve करने की कोशिश की जाएगी. Now, two sides signed a memorandum of understanding, including the MOU between the NHPC and UVCL with Nepal, development of the Pulkot Karnali hydropower project, and the project development agreement on the Lower Arjun hydroelectricity between SJVN and Investment Bank of Nepal. They also inaugurated the integrated check post at Nepalganj in Nepal and Rupureria in the Indian side. Now, moving to the other news, Law Commission's views on seditions laws retention, something important for General Studies paper 2, that is functions and responsibility of union and states and issues and challenges pertaining to the federal structure of this country. So the Law Commission has submitted its report on seditions law to the central government. Why? Because recently in May 2022, the Supreme Court has stayed the invocation of sedition charges until like they said that the provision need to be revisited और उसके लिए एक स्पेसिफिक कमेटी बनाने की बात की थी. उसी कमेटी ने रिपोर्ट सबमिट की है. दैट इज द वाई I mean, the reason being we are discussing this news. This become vital for examination, and the fact is that even it can be in a question in the mains examination process. So those of you will be appearing for mains this year. This is important because the judgment which was delivered by the Supreme Court, which has stayed now final, there's a time to rethink about this, right? So the report says that Article 124A of the IPC, which called for seditions, deal with the seditions should be retained with some safeguard to misuse it. This is what the Law Commission has categorically noted. However, some amendment can be made for the greater clarity using this provision. This is what the Law Commission of India has said, right? The Law Commission of India. Now, recommendations की अगर बात करें, क्या-क्या recommendations दी गई कमेटी की तरफ से? The Law Commission panel in its report has said that taking into cognizance in the view that the misuse of Section 124A, it recommend that the guideline will be issued by center to prevent them. And Section 124 of the Indian Penal Code deal with the seditions and retain certain amendment that could be having a greater clarity in terms of uses and implementation, and even the law enforcement agency will get a clarity how to implement it. The commission said that the sedition being a colonial legacy is not, that is not should be the only ground for making it nullified. There should be several other factors that should be taken into consideration. And the Law Commission said that the existing of laws such as Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, जिसे UAPA भी कहते हैं, और National Security Act, does not have any implications, cover all elements of the offences envisaged under Section 124A of the IPC. Now, about the sedition law, a sedition law in India is covered under 124A of the Indian Penal Code. It defines sedition as any act that brings to attempt being hatred and contempt awarded with the Indian government or excite disaffections against it, right? So there are a lot of other, part of clauses which is there when a sedition can be invoked or charges of sedition can be there. Once you hatred can be through via speech, any mode of medium, even internet. So there are various factors which take into consideration and impose a sedition law to an individual. Now, moving to the other news, manufacturing hit 31st month high in May, something important for General Studies paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. So according to the latest S&P Global Manufacturing and Purchasing Manager Index, जिसे PMI भी कहते हैं, ये एक independent basically rating agency, they have said that India's manufacturing activity has increased to 31st month high और ये बढ़ करके 58.7 हुई है from 57.2 in April, and the record expansion has been seen in the stock and the part of the strong increase in the new order and output. The finding of the survey की अगर बात करें, the survey which find that 50 indicators manufacturing expansion has been there, and अक्टूबर 2020 PMI मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की अगर बात करें, दिस वाज रिकॉर्डेड एट 58.9. And for May data, this was 23-month rise, which is like factory orders, firm जो इनके साथ associated थे, demand strengthen and favorable economic climate. तो सर्वे ने कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट और चीज़ों को नोट किया है. There are 5 component of the PMI subcomponent which include stock for the purchase, even increase in the unprecedented pace, supply chain conditions, sustained increase in the purchasing boosted the inventory growth. Now, India's gross domestic product की अगर बात करें, if you see the part of the GDP, right, which is actually in function. So for GDP, the PMI's data shows that India's gross domestic has expanded to 6.1% for this particular quarter, and it is estimated that this will reach out to 7.2%. Right, the manufacturing sector has registered year-on-year growth of 4.5% for financial year in the fourth quarter of 2023. And May data indicate that there is a sharp acceleration increase in the quantities and even the rate expansion, which is quickening to the strongest of 12 years. NSO की क्या डेटा इसमें रिलीज की गई है? The National Statistical Office have showed that the currently India's GDP is higher than what is expected to 6.1%. So this was something that was anticipated. Now for this year it is 7.2. So you can see the surge, and the growth was supported by a pickup in the service sectors, which was led by the construction. This is the other sector which is performing, and even trade, hotels, transportation. These sectors were not performing well during COVID-19. अगर COVID pandemic की बात करें, at that time with the complete lockdown, the sectors were not performing well, and even now this is taking a leap, and final consumption expenditure has also been which was muted, it has witnessed a pretty growth. Now, moving to the editorial of the day, at the root of India's manufacturing challenge, something important for general studies paper 2, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementations. So what is the theme and focus of this editorial? The focus is upon India's manufacturing challenge. We'll see the economic reform 1991, unimpressive record of the manufacturing, the price of food, focus on export, educational outcome of India, और conclusions देखेंगे. Now, to give you the background, अगर बात करें manufacturing की, even the issues of manufacturing और services, ये एक ऐसी चीज़ें हैं इंडिया इकोनॉमी के लिए जो कि पोस्ट लिबरलाइजेशन अगर 1991 के बात करें तो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पे तो नहीं, बट सर्विसेज पे भी बहुत ज़्यादा ध्यान नहीं दिया गया. Now, in the early part of the century, India's software export that was booming, right? The service sector could not be take a leap forward over the manufacturing, which propelled Indian economy forward, right? So the sector which was expected that there should be something given priority was not actually being prioritized by the policymakers. Now the policy challenged the standard model of economic development, and most successful economics or like they have actually relied upon the industrial expansion. आप जितने भी countries को देखें, even French and even the part of France, Russia and even US, they have actually gone for the industrial revolution. Post that, the economy has taken a position which was constant growth. But in India, we have never focused on manufacturing part. तो उसी की criticism भी थोड़ी की गई है इस आर्टिकल में. Now, economic reform की अगर बात करें 1991 से, almost exclusive focus manufacturing पे उसके बाद रही है. But again, license Raj was something that was creating problem in India, and about which the manufacturing has not come with the full potential, right? And India's manufacturing sector are to be seen only in terms of size, and qualitative challenges was there only after 1991. तो 1991 के बाद changes देखी गई हैं, and even the quality product manufactured in India have undergone impressive increase. Now the rise in the variety of goods and products, even the without expansion of the manufacturing, is something which India definitely need to look upon. और inequalities of income भी manufacturing में काफ़ी ज़्यादा है, where small SMEs की अगर बात करें या micro, small and medium enterprises की बात करें, these are actually, there's a lot of variation people working out for there, and even the contribution to the economy is variable. Unimpressive record किस तरह की बेसिकली जो परफॉर्मेंस होनी चाहिए मैन्युफैक्चरिंग की वो नहीं रही है पोस्ट 1991. नेक्स्ट टाइम जो मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पे ध्यान दी गई है वो 2014 में, एंड दिस वाज थ्रू द इनिशिएटिव नोन एज मेक इन इंडिया, राइट? बट अगेन द डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट वाज नॉट देयर. उसके बाद गवर्नमेंट ने रिसेंटली अभी PLI, दैट इज प्रोडक्शन लिंक incentive scheme, which is more of a subsidies that is given across various sectors. Almost 15 sectors से ज़्यादा ऐसे sectors हैं जो कि इसमें है. First advanced estimate that 2023 shows manufacturing grew by 1.3%, which is again less than agriculture or main segment of the services. While demonetization in 2016 has resulted in the slow of manufacturing sectors. The price of foods की अगर बात करें, again if you see for India specifically, एक कई बड़ी correlations have when it comes to the per capita income and even the part of the food share which is there, which is again higher compared to other countries. Globally अगर आप देखें तो इंडिया की ज़्यादा है, even for United States and Singapore which is having a low share. Now, of the larger economies, the food share, for India is largest in terms of GDP and per capita growth जो है वो काफी lowest है. Industrial leader have no control over the demand side for the equations. However, the possibility of exploring the part of the manufacturing, अगर बात करें exporting की, manufacturing sectors में भी उतनी ज़्यादा नहीं है, and even for the narrow market domestic, we have to see how the best possible way out can be there. See, if you see the part of import and even export, there's a definitely deficit which always it has. Now, इस sectors में अगर food की बात करें, we have to ensure that how the part of household food and even the part of expenditure that is there can be reduced with the part of the policy making. Focus on export in comparison अगर बात करें East Asia में, it is necessary that economy have a successful exporters. हमें exporters बनने की ज़रूरत है, ना कि importers. We have to reduce our import. Import has to be brought down. Now, infrastructure is something where and skill. These are the two parts where India is a potential, and they can work upon exporting. Now, these are the cost of productions and the type of products that can be used. The export of manufacturing is largely by the sea, and the competitive disadvantage is that India's export has been seeing much higher turnaround for the ship and the port which compared to Singapore. Educational outcome बात करें अगर इंडिया की, with respect to education, India has fallen most behind the countries that is manufacturing in the world, and the ranking of the countries by progress for the international student assessment revealed directly. So there's part of the assessment which is done. So in that also the outcome for education is not that proper. Because why are we talking about education here? Because education can definitely have a skill development which ultimately will contribute in the nation development. So there's no formal assessment available to the part of vocational training. और जो प्लानिंग कमीशन थी जो कि अब खत्म करके बेसिकली नीति आयोग हो गई है. सो नीति प्लानिंग कमीशन ने कहा था कि ओनली 5% ऑफ इंडियन आर हैविंग टेक्निकल ट्रेनिंग. This figure for South Korea is 85%. So you can have a comparison how fast these economies are growing, and for the part of the naval expertise that we have at the part of manufacturing, definitely India की जो labor force है that is not trained in such a way. Conclusions की अगर बात करें, the economic reform post 1991 were taken as a view to raise the presence of manufacturing, but again 2014 के बाद बहुत ज़्यादा achievement नहीं हुई, and even now the PLI scheme is working out. We have to wait for a year or two to see the progress. Now, to this effect, trade and industrial policies regime has been overhauled. However, it has underlooked the entire system, including schooling, training, infrastructure, and manufacturing to flourish. तो ये सारी चीज़ों पे काम करने की ज़रूरत है. Then only we can get a desired result. Now, moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day. Before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option was B. For second question, the correct option was A. Today's MCQ for practice, International Financial Services Authority के बारे में आपको बताना है. It's an executive body. It consists of member appointed by the central government. Now, the second question of the day is a green methanol. काफी important है exams के लिए. It is produced by the renewable with and without polluting emissions. It is obtained by the synthesis of methane present in the natural gases. So do check out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more of correct question will help you in the prelims and even for many other government examination. So this was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. I'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.